Check out something in your truck. You're looking so good this morning. You can be seated. I've learned better than to say I'm not going to be before you long. I'll be before you until I'm done with what God says. Is that all right? Okay, I promise you it'll be engaging and interesting and all of that kind of good stuff. I'm going to pray and we're going to go right into the Word. Do I have a musician this morning?
You got to keep but no, she can play some worship music. Is Charmaine? Yeah.
Okay. Well, at an appointed time, I might want that to happen. You know, I flow with however God tells me to flow. For more than a few years, He would not permit me to go into a congregation of any size and pull out people and prophesy directly to them. And He said, for this season, you're not going to be able to do it. And I said, why? He said, because they have to take seriously what you're preaching.
Amen.
And so when people began to take seriously what I was preaching, then I was able to prophesy again. And I love prophesying. I have fun. It's fun for me to prophesy. But this is a very serious hour, so I'm going to hit a very serious subject. It's called resistance. So I'm going to pray and we're going to go into the Word. Okay. Father in heaven, I thank you for these who you have gathered in this place. Father, they're not little children. They're not stupid. They're not grasping and greedy for anything. Their hearts are pure before you because they desire to hear something from you that's going to change their lives or uplift them in spirit to be able to get them through the weeks and the months and the years ahead. So, Father, I thank you that you've chosen me to be that voice. I'm honored to be that voice because these are your people and they're wonderful people. So, Father, I ask you to hide me behind your cross and your purpose, that I might do everything that you told me to do and nothing less. And I give you the praise and the glory for it, Lord, in Jesus' holy name. Amen. This message was inspired by my apostle, and yes, I have one. I think apostles need apostles. Okay? I think that everybody that's a church choir, you need a pastor, and every church needs an apostle. Okay, they do. Whether the pastor is an apostle or not is irrelevant. You still need an apostle to that flock. You need somebody that has that jurisdictional prelate's ability to look into your region and to tell you what's there and to tell you how to conquer it. Now, I'm going to warn you all in advance. This church, the way it is now, after I leave it, will not be the same anymore. You're going to have people coming from the north and from the south and from the east and from the west. And they're going to be very different people. Right now, you're already attracting very different people. Very cross-cultural is not here as much as it's going to be. But it's going to evidence a cross-cultural mix. Because what is hitting the United States of America, I've been telling America it was coming for years. But you know, sometimes people don't believe you. They don't care. When I was doing TDM on a regular basis and everybody knew me and everything else and they tried to be celebrating me stuff, I just looked at them like, you crazy. Because I knew you wasn't going to be there when I needed you. Shut up. Now that's just truth and reality.
It is.
That's truth and reality. People in the Church of Jesus Christ are fair weather friends right now. They're disunited. Now, I was saying to Pastor this morning on the way into the car, because she's so prophetic, but I was saying to her on the way in the car that Houston is being hit by a terrible storm, and with all the apostolic prophetic voices and with all the saints that were praying for Houston, we could not turn that storm. But my cousin Doris, my only real relative that's in that area, my cousin Doris, it's like she's on an island. I'm telling you the truth. It's flooded all around her in a circle. She can't go anywhere to get out. She's stuck where she is, but there's no flooding in her house. Yet out across in her backyard is a bayou. So she was very concerned. She didn't sleep much last night, neither did I. I was praying and I was talking to God about this, and I said, why can't we turn this? And the Holy Spirit brought back to me in remembrance what I preached to you all last night. Now, those of you who were there in the meeting, really, do we have a recording of that?
No, just Facebook. We didn't get.
Oh, gosh. But we have a Facebook Live post?
Yeah, a little bit of a Facebook Live.
A little bit of a Facebook Live. Okay.
Oh, he said it's an hour and something, so when you was up preaching, he said he saw it. He saw it.
Okay, excellent. That particular message, you all who were there Now you're going to be responsible from God to take that message out to the nation. Because we are a divided body. When the body is divided, things like this can come ashore. You're going to get violent storms. You're going to get all kinds of things. Storms hit the heartland, and they've been hitting the heartland successfully for months on end. Killing people, tearing up property, destroying in America. And yet nobody is equating this to a divided church. We are divided on racial lines. We are divided on political lines. And this is a mess, and it's got to stop. That's why Houston is flooded. And see, if you don't know how to equate that, that's why I came to tell you to equate that. So that all of you are charged now to pray. You've got to pray for that area of the country. But you've got to pray for the president. You've got to pray for everybody that's in authority. You've got to pray that there not be a divided America. The president stands against his own party and cabinet.
Yes, he does.
Okay? So when you see things like this happen, you can't say, all them folk over there, they voted for him. I didn't vote for that man. I didn't want him in office. You may not have voted for him, but he's president.
Yes, right.
And you have an obligation now before God to pray for him. Because if he doesn't unite his party and get something done, and if he doesn't unite America, the winds, the rains, the adversity, it's going to come. It's going to get worse. Now, I don't want to be a harbinger of doom, but it's going to get worse. And then all of a sudden, it's going to get real good. Come on. It's going to get real good. Steppers there, they got one iron. Real good. Real good. It's about to get real good. But in order to bring it to the real good point, we got to do what we got to do. We got to hit our faces and pray. That means somebody's going to have to go into fasting and prayer. That means churches are going to start calling white churches, black churches, coming together, praying for America, praying for the president. That means churches who have castigated the former president, Barack Obama, need to come off that. They need to leave him to heaven alone. Okay? This needs to stop because this is what divided America. He didn't do everything all right either.
No.
A lot of stuff he did, I couldn't stand it.
I couldn't stand it either.
But he was an ordination. And the reason why he was ordained to be in that position is to show what's in America right now.
That's right.
Amen. My God.
You get a black president, it shows up all of the white supremacy, all the racism. But I want you to notice this. And see, you have to understand where the hand of God is. I want you to notice this. Despite the fact that he moved against the two things that the church thinks so important. If you are for gay rights and if you are for abortion, the church thinks you're a demon. Nothing that you do is going to be good because your party stands for that or you personally might stand for that in America. Are you with me? Okay? The church is so lame, so numb-brained, that they think those are the two most important agendas on God's agenda.
Yes.
If you teach your children how not to have sex till they're married, if you train your kids not to go to an abortion clinic, if you train your people in your church not to do it, you don't have a problem with abortion. Why are we this stupid?
Right.
That's right.
Likewise, if the Spirit wasn't released in America from the church, homosexuality wouldn't be in it all the time.
That's right. That's right.
So while you want to blame a political party for all of this, you need to look at the man in the mirror. That's what I sang last night. I kept singing that. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change. It's in us. We have to change it. Now you don't get a choice.
Amen.
Now let me tell you something. We created the America that's created right now. We did it collectively as the church. Whether we voted for this president or whether we voted for the last one or not, it's irrelevant. We created conditions to produce. Hillary Clinton is a candidate and Donald Trump is a candidate. And we created conditions to produce an America that can support Donald Trump's presidency.
Amen.
So you can't put the responsibility on anybody else except the house of God. The house of God is directly responsible. Now God spoke to me as clear as a bell, and he said, daughter, they asked for somebody by name. and I'm going to give them what they ask.
That's right. Amen.
Amen.
Now, if they hadn't asked for him by name, you know what God wanted to do? Raise up a champion. He had somebody in mind, tailor-made for his purpose, that loves him, that will go into the White House a praying person. He had already selected somebody. But America selected Hillary Clinton and Donald J. Trump. Neither one of them were his choices.
Amen.
So how did we get them? Because millions of evangelical Christians buy-rated the last president, who was the ordination, to show what was in America. And he certainly stirred it up and he showed it. And when they came against him and they called him Antichrist, they called him evil, they said a dark spirit proceeded over America. Most of their prophets said the same thing.
Yes.
I was the only one that I knew of that was saying something the opposite. So I said, I must be crazy. Did you ever feel that way? I must be crazy, because I feel like I'm the little fish that's swimming upstream, because I never heard any of that filthy, vile stuff against this man. Okay, never heard that stuff except from evangelical Christendom.
That's right.
That's where I was hearing all of that. They prayed that he would be assassinated.
Yes,
they prayed that he wouldn't do 4 years.
Right.
They prophesied he wouldn't do 4 years.
That's
They
right.
prophesied he'd never do 8 years. This is hatred, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
We may as well call it what it is.
Yes.
My God, my God.
And I can't tell you I'm a rah-rah person for Barack Obama. But it was easier for me to pray for him because I knew where his heart was. Because I asked God where his heart was. I've known who every seated president would be since prior to Ronald Reagan. I've known as a prophet, who every seated prophet. This one got in there, I knew nothing about it. You know why? Because God wouldn't tell me. And you know why he wouldn't tell me? Because he knew that I'd be rolling on the floor and crying.
Yes.
Because I knew what was in the man. And I knew what was in the woman. And I knew either way that we went, a judgment was coming. It didn't make any difference which one of them got in office.